I've dated shorter guys, taller guys, but shorter guys are the most fun. In my experience, short guys are like, just, if they don't care that they're short, they are a blast.
But if they do care that they're short, you notice.
Oh, yeah.
You don't notice the height. You notice how they feel about their height.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Same way with me I've been with women of all different sizes, but when I can tell you don't like your body is when I actually start to get a little more turned off by you and your body.
It's all confidence.
Yeah.
But first, a word from our sponsors.
When your mission is beyond missionary, step up your game with Liberator. Their collection of transformable sex furniture and sex toy mounts will put you in sexual positions you never thought were possible. Use promo code MANWHORE and save 40% off the best-selling Wedge Ramp combo at Liberator.com.
Welcome to the Man-Whore Podcast.
What's up, all you fan whores, whoreheads, pod sluts? This is Billy Persida, and you are listening to the Man-Whore Podcast. I hope everyone's been having a good week, or even better, a solid weekend. I got some time with the babies. Went out to Jersey impromptu with the niece and nephew after some kinky board game plans fell through. And I got to go spend a day on Jersey doing that. And just uncle life is so dope. I get to show up, receive tons of affection, play around with toys, pick human beings up in the air, and then put them back down. And then when I'm tired or they're tired, like, I get to leave. Not my responsibility. Did have a beautiful moment, though, where I come out of the bathroom and my nephew, who's about to turn 2 years old, Cooper, he runs out and he yells, "Hug!" and just hugs my legs. My heart explodes. This is great. But then little fella who, we haven't clicked super hard just yet. He's just getting his personality together. His older sister had a personality like instantly. And like he took a little bit of a beat. But yeah, he comes up and goes, hugs me, and then goes, "I love you." And I'm like, I didn't even know this kid could say I love you. I bent down and said, "I fucking love you too." And I'm like, "I'm going to pick you up." And he's like, "Yes." I pick him up and I'm like, shake the baby. Although, and my niece and nephew are a little weird. They like to clean, particularly the oldest one. My niece, she loves to clean. She likes to take things apart and put them back together. My sister says to me, when we were gearing up for Christmas, she's like, if you want to get, they sell, toy brooms. So if you want to get her like something like that, she would love that. A toy broom, a toy mop. I said, fuck that. I'll get her a real mop. She'll grow into it. And then she can learn on the real thing. Anyways. Comedian Caitlin Peluffo is on the podcast this week, just gushing about her fiance and how great he is and how wonderful their communication strategies are and all of that bliss. And I look forward to sharing her with y'all in a little bit. But first, tonight, Wednesday, March 12th, if you are in New York, I am competing in a one-liner madness competition. It's a benefit for I think, like homeless pets. It's for a good cause. And then March 22nd, we are back at Hacienda for another couple of naked comedy shows. Hey! Ticket link for both of those are over at manwhorepod.com or in the show notes. Naked Comedy Show. Use promo code WETWIPES for $5 off. Before I get to my guest this week, Caitlin Peluffo, let's do a fan whore appreciation moment. This is a part of the podcast where I like to give a shout out to members of the fan whore community on Patreon and say thank you to those of you who support me with not only your downloads, but also your dollars. I want to give a shout out right now to a two-time past guest of the show, Serena Danyari. Yes, a podcast so good, apparently even the guests will join my Patreon. Thank you, hun. I'll see you when you get back from South by Southwest. And I want to give a shout out to Rosam Dankeslet. I had to look that up. I hope I said that right. Mazel, thank you. Congrats. All the words, Rosam. Appreciate you. Our next hot movie night is going to be in 2 weeks on March 27th. 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be watching the 1972 classic, The Godmother. Hot. You can join us for that, as well as receive a bunch of other benefits at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Caitlin Peluffo, super funny stand-up comedian. She has a new comedy record out wherever you listen to the comedy albums, is called Dirty Bird, and it was #1 on iTunes. Caitlin is engaged to / quasi-married to another very funny comedian, Steven Rogers. So when I reference Steven, that's, I know Captain America. He's got a joke about it. And so that's who I'm referencing. He's also super funny. Like, they're a comedy power couple. Big fan. Hope that all the things go the right ways for them. And then let's get to the chat. As we age, our bodies are changing. Certain parts need more support than they used to. Other areas are getting a little sorer faster. And that's why it's important to make sex more comfortable. And that's where Liberator comes in. Liberator has been making fuck furniture to make sex more comfortable, more pleasurable, and last longer for decades. Their best-selling wedge ramp combo gets you in the right positions just a little easier, just a little bit more comfortable, which means you're ready to be in that position longer and harder. And you can get 40% off Liberator's wedge ramp combo when you use promo code manwhore at Liberator.com. Or you can click the link at the top of the show notes to go right to the product. Again, 40% off their best-selling wedge ramp combo with promo code manwhore. Or you can just browse around Liberator.com and upgrade your sex life today.
This episode is brought to you by Paramount Plus. Get in, loser! Mean Girls is now streaming on Paramount Plus. Join Katie Heron as she meets the plastics in Tina Fey's new twist on the modern classic. Get ready for more of the rumors, backstabbing, and jokes you loved from the original movie with some fetch surprises. Rated PG-13. Wear pink and head to ParamountPlus.com to try it free.
Does Monday at the office feel like a storm? Not with Microsoft Copilot. That feeling when Copilot gets everyone up to speed instantly? It's sunny again. When Copilot simplifies complex data so your teams can act, that sun's shining on a beach. And when Copilot uncovers hidden insights, you're on that beach with your people, and you find buried treasure. That's Microsoft Copilot. Learn more at Microsoft.com/AI for all.
Well, I appreciate it because usually the first thing people think about me is how dirty I am, and I'm
Really?
Like, I don't think I'm that dirty, but people think I'm filthy. And
Is it
I'm
just
like,
because like filthy, like for a lady?
Yeah, I think so. I think also a lot of people are like, women only talk about sex on stage, and it's like, well, that's not true. I talk about so many other things, but your algorithm only lets you get the sexy ones from women. So,
Which says literally only things about you.
Exactly.
Your algorithm only tells on you.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Anyway, I could talk about it for an hour, but
I mean,
these guys, and then they comment on it. They're like, women only talk about sex. It's like, because you're commenting on the stuff about sex. Okay. Anyway, I feel great.
Seems like it grinds your gears.
I mean, yeah. I'm taking a breath. We're good. I'm ready to go. Lovely fireplace. It's really nice.
Unusable.
Unusable, but it's still a nice ambiance.
Two sides. I've got unusable fireplaces.
That's great.
But welcome, Caitlin Peluffo.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, like I said, surprised, happily surprised you're on board. Because again, I don't think of you as filthy.
Thank you.
But I don't know if
Tell my mom.
Well, maybe it's I wonder if there's an element of I think of Steven as very wholesome.
Yes, he is.
And then maybe he's bringing that, he's averaging you down with the wholesomeness if I view y'all as a couple.
Yeah, he's making me tamer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've seen you since the engagement, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Mazel.
Yeah, we're engaged. He's making an honest woman out of me, I guess. Well, we'll see. We haven't planned a thing.
I was going to ask when the wedding is.
We haven't planned a single thing. We've been engaged for a year and a half, and we've done nothing. Yeah, it's kind of wild. But we will get married. Like, we're excited to get married, and we've thought more about having kids than getting married. Like, neither of us are like, wedding! wedding. So we're really screwed.
Well, do you feel like you're like already past the like engagement bliss window? Because engagement was a while ago now.
Yeah, it was over a year ago. And we were really happily engaged until we tried to start planning it. And we realized how much it would cost. And we were like, oh, let's fuck this. We're not going to do this right away. This is going to be a long engagement.
Right.
And then I'm in my later 30s. I'm 37. But when we got engaged, I was 35. And we decided to freeze my eggs instead.
Nice.
So instead of, that seemed a little bit more time sensitive than a wedding. So we froze the eggs. And now we're like, okay, now we're saving to get married. So,
but is there like any sort of like does the peak of the engagement stuff kind of drop off where you're like, well, we're basically married. We just haven't
pretty
done
much.
the wedding yet.
Yeah, I mean, we have 2 cats. We live together in Astoria. We're happy. He just checked on my car. Like, we're doing all the domestic stuff. The only thing we're not doing is spending Christmas together. And I know, it's so sad.
Weird.
But it's just like we have my family does Christmas really big. He loves spending time with his family at Christmas. So it's we do a Christmas thing together before. You know, we celebrate Christmas early together, and then we go see our families. But we always said as soon as we're married, we have to figure out a way to spend Christmas together. So we're kind of like postponing, putting off the argument of where we will spend Christmas.
Well, I feel like when you like decide to get married, or once you get married, that's like there's all these like little things of how we integrate 2 or more families right now, and I wonder like are those like conversations you 2 have been having?
Yeah, I think
like what else comes up?
The big one is Christmas, because I love Christmas. Christmas is like my, my whole heart. Yeah. I'm one of those dorks who puts up their Christmas tree like October 29th, which I did do. Anyway.
You've all seen my late night set. You all know I did the tree.
Yeah, I did the tree. Okay. That's the big one that we have. Oh, and then sometimes we talk about like who's gonna. I'm not taking his last name, obviously. Okay. And he's not taking mine, but it's.
He should. I mean, it sounds like when you watch his act, it sounds like his dream is to abandon that last name.
I know. I mean, he would be a great Peluffo. He wears it well. But he's Steven Rogers till he's dead, and I respect that. Okay. But it's the kids. We talk about what we're going to do with the children, because we do want kids if we want it to be hyphenated or just one last name. And I want to hyphenate, and he wants to hyphenate, but he is very particular about which name goes first. And I was like, should I care about which name goes first? I don't know. I don't think so.
It sounds like he wants his first.
I don't know. I think it's Peluffo Rogers he wants, or Rogers Peluffo.
Well, I mean, those are 2 very different statements.
I have no idea.
Because I could see him going like, I'm still a fucking man. Their last name's going to be mine, damn it. Sorry, as he looks up at you. No.
Yeah. I don't know which one it would be better. It doesn't matter much.
It doesn't matter to you.
To me, I just don't. Because Peluffo is so hard to say and Rogers is so easy. I'm like, well, I don't want them to just skip over Peluffo because it's like they would just give up on the name. You know,
Peluffo really that difficult to say?
Oh, you would be surprised, Billy. Billy. The amount of Pelfos, Pelfalos, Pufos.
Those people just can't read.
I don't think they can read.
Someone comes at you with a Peluffo, like I get it, and you think that's a simple. But all these other things, that's not even the order of the letters.
No. Puffy I got once, which was like, good for you. That was, you just skipped the whole middle. You just, whoo.
Okay. So you don't care about these types of things, but he's really
he's
into
particular.
That. Okay.
So I think I'll let him win on that one because I don't. Well, I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I do want I want my child to have the trauma of having a substitute teacher try and read their last name. Rogers, you had it too easy for too long. Okay. I want someone to go up there and have to be like Peluffo, you have to like correct the teacher.
What if you did like,
it's like a power move.
Sounds like you want to do kids plural.
Yeah.
So like you get a Peluffo, you get a Rogers.
Yeah. Yeah, they need someone to complain about their parents too. So you got to have 2. Yeah. You know what I mean? Otherwise they're just kind of like, "Oh, this is normal." It's like, "No, your parents are not normal." You got to complain to your little sibling about how unnormal your parents are.
Yeah. Well, marriage sounds like it's like there's just a lot of compromise involved. My sister, she married a guy from like the Bay Area, and we won the geographic war, the Jersey Presidas. We won that. And I hear like a lot of, what the grumblings are of like the fact that they don't get to see the grandkids and they don't visit them as much and they don't go out as much for holidays. And so, I just go like, oh, it sounds like a lot of compromise involved. Like, again, little things you don't even think about.
Yeah, we're lucky because his parents are in Syracuse, so we can see them, pretty easily.
Where's you from?
San Francisco, Bay Area, yeah. And so, but I'm lucky in that I travel so much for work that I either go to LA or San Francisco or Vegas, and my family will come and visit me, or I will see them. So I get to see them 4 or 5 times a year, which is nice. I'm about to see her in March. I'm opening for Fortune Feimster in March in Los Angeles, and my mom's like, can I come? And it's like, yeah, come on. And sometimes my mom will pick a city that I'm going to, like we're going to go to Grand Rapids. And so I invited my mom, you can come to Grand Rapids. And so she'll come to Grand Rapids for 3 days, and I'm like, you ready to see a wild club?
Which one, Grins or?
Dr. Grins. Yeah. Have you ever done it?
I did it once it was actually the last show I did before lockdown.
Oh my God. I love that club. I love the people who run that club, but they don't tell you that Friday and Saturday nights, late night, it turns into a club. It's like a club. And so by the end of your set, the music's going and you hear them, and like people are drunk and wild because the bathrooms are right outside, and it's just like, what are we doing? So they finally started the shows earlier. So when I come back this time, the shows will be earlier. So they said that it won't be as clubby by the time you're done with your show. But it's like, it's insane that it's like the bottom 2 floors are like just horny teenagers screaming, doing
Grins is
shots.
the one it's in the big mall complex. Is that?
Yeah, it's in like the 3-story thing. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And, yeah, oh my God, it is painful. Especially because, I'm not selling shit tons of tickets. First 2 shows sell well. Second 2 shows, always light. So there's nothing worse than a club, like everyone having a better time downstairs than the 15 people right in front of you.
You don't want the 15 people to think like, fuck, should we go downstairs?
I know, they're all thinking it. And I'm thinking it. We should all just go downstairs.
It's like, did we pick the wrong thing?
Exactly.
So when it comes to marriage, what are you worried?
Am I worried about marriage?
Yeah, you worried about doing that?
No, not at all. Actually, I'm so not worried about it that I am not doing it. Does that make sense? Like, it's going to be, to me, it's like just such a lateral move from where we are right now that I don't care enough to actually do it. Does that make sense?
I mean, you don't have a wedding date picked out.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's just like, to me, we've done it.
He's your husband.
He's my husband. We found each other. We just don't have the money to do a big party. And so we're like, yeah, let's spend money on your special, and let's spend money on freezing my eggs, and I spent money on a trainer. I lost 30 pounds, and I guess the hardest part about getting married is the finances. It's like, we're going to have to get a joint account. We're going to have to start saving for a house. Because these are all things we want to do, but we're also just don't have the literacy to do it. So
do either of you go to like parents to ask, like, what are we missing? Stuff like, oh, I guess join a, like, it's again the stuff where you go like, oh yeah, I guess that's a thing we're supposed to do.
Well, it's also back then with my parents' generation, it was like completely different. Like, oh, you got married and you already had a joint account. You had to do it. My parents got married at 24 and 21. It's like, of course, they had a joint account. They were eating Cheetos off the floor. They were so poor, and so young. Whereas now it's like, it is, you have one joint account, then you also have your own personal accounts. And it's a little bit more nuanced in how you save, what you're saving for, and what money is yours. Does that make sense? Because I don't want to give him all my money, and he doesn't want to give me all my money. All his money, so it's like,
so how'd y'all negotiate that? Like, what type of, what that conversation sound like?
Yeah. How much money do we put into the joint account?
Do we share followers? Like what?
No.
I mean,
That's where I draw the line.
As the
No
one with
followers.
the bigger accounts. I was looking it up to be like, I wonder if that causes any tension.
No. He's like, it's so funny because he does notice that stuff, and but he's not.
He brings it up.
He's more supportive than competitive.
Okay.
Which is why I'm marrying him. If he was more competitive, we would not be getting married.
Sure.
But he's it's just, what was I talking about? It's something he notices, but
the follower count.
The following, yes. And so like I'll ask. I was like, can I complain about this? And he goes, yes. And he lets me complain about whatever. And I mean, I'm not, crushing it. I'm so grateful for the followers I have and whatever.
You're doing great.
I'm doing great. But I'm not, we always want more. With Steve, I don't worry at all because he's so good at producing and creating. Like he writes every day. He is on his second album. Like he's about to, in October, he's going to record his second album. Mm-hmm. He's works clean, which is so hard to do. So hard. He opens for some of the biggest comics in the world. And he has such a strong work ethic and he's so funny. And it's for him, it's like a slower build. But I'm not worried about it. I'm like, yeah, the clean guys always have a slow build and then they pop and then everybody knows their name. I'm not worried about it.
Meanwhile, you pick up $10,000 to $15,000 checks from corporate gigs.
Exactly. It's like,
and our kids go to preschool.
You're making money and you're doing what you love. He's never had a day job since he's moved to New York.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm really so proud of him because he's just worked so hard for so long and he doesn't let himself get deterred by the follower counts, because his friends have like lots of followers and he's just like, I'm chugging along. Yeah. And that's what you got to do. That's the hardest part is just keeping going. Keep going. Thank you.
It's okay. Your car difficulty today. You get to do whatever you want.
I mean, my brain's broken. I felt crazy.
Again, as a car owner, I just thought like immediately before you said it was resolved, I was like, I don't know. Can Caitlin do this?
I know.
I wouldn't have been able to.
I think it's crazy that one key doesn't work. Just one key?
When you use it, doesn't work. Yes.
I know. It's like, woman driver. Yeah. I don't want it.
Do they know how to use keys?
Yeah.
Should we let them?
Yeah. She shouldn't vote.
But so that doesn't come up with like, say, touring gigs and stuff like that. Y'all, it sounds like it's a very supportive. It's never been tense about who got what.
One thing about dating a comic is that they have the same mentality. You you have the same like, okay.
It's defend Shane Gillis at all. Yeah.
I thought he did so good on Saturday Night Live. I was so proud of him.
I had like kind of like pride feels and happy feels for him, but I could visually just see how nervous he was.
Yeah. Well, I saw him the week of, and he was running his set, and he was so worried about cursing. Because he uses fucks as commas, and so do I. So I completely related to that. I was like, you could not curse. He's like, I'm going to curse. And I was like, you cannot curse. And then he went up there and he didn't curse, and he was super funny. And I was like, you did. Yeah. So, I mean, but yeah, I was really happy for him because a little bit of redemption, and then he did a great job, I thought. Yeah. And his Trump is I think the best Trump. Huh? I think his Trump impression is the best one.
It's quite good.
Quite good. Yes.
How did Steven approach you?
Yeah. So what happened was Steve and I were friends for a long time. We met at a comedy festival, and we both had significant others at the time. And so we just became friends. And I would see him whenever I did a gig up in Syracuse. And then I think one time he came to New York and we saw each other. But always just friendly, nothing going on. And then he moved to New York. And we started writing together. Okay. Just writing.
Actually writing.
Oh,
wow.
I know.
See, because previously I thought that's how comics hit on each other.
I know. Well, I actually write with like 3 or 4 people. So with him, I always liked how he wrote clean. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to write with him to learn how to write clean, because at that time I was like, my pussy, so. But we wrote together a handful of times, and then we started talking about personal stuff. Our relationship started crumbling, separately. Then we got single at the same time. And then we had a writing sesh, and after something. He always says it differently, but after
Because he doesn't swear when he tells us.
yeah, he fucking did fuck. No, we went out to get drinks afterwards, and we got drunk. We made out at the bar, and then we had sex, and then the next morning we had sex again.
Oh wow.
Yes, and because we were super drunk the first night, so we remember it, but not clearly, and so we were like, okay, well, let's do this again.
Maybe we do it better. Next
Yeah,
time. I think
yeah.
I could just do. Can I get another take?
Yeah,
I think I would do a much better
redo.
job.
And then from then on, it was just like everything fell into place, and it was great,
Very seamless.
very seamless.
Okay.
And it was funny because like I was having feelings about him. After I broke up, I'm a tunnel vision person, you know. So if I'm with someone, I'm like, I'm with them. No one else exists. And we finally broke up, and then started developing feelings for Steven, and then I was like, well, Steven's one that I could like marry. I could be with him for a really long time
Before you've done anything's happened.
before anything's happened. Yeah, and I was like, so I gotta have sex with. I gotta go through a hoe phase.
Okay.
You know, like I gotta go through a hoe phase before I get to Steve, because Steve is where I'm ending. You know, it felt like that's where I could end. And I didn't want to go from one long relationship to another. So I went to the bar.
Yeah.
And there was a guy that I'd always been flirty with who was he was like our neighborhood Coke dealer. And
It's nice to have those.
yes.
Your friendly neighborhood Coke dealer.
Yeah, he was a beautiful man, very sweet, very funny. And so I like made up my mind. I was like, I'm going to try and have sex with him tonight. And so I sat at the bar and I waited. And then sure enough, he was there. And then we started flirting, and he found out I was single. And then we go home and we go to my place, and we start drinking. He's being a little awkward. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And so we end up hooking up. But I say hooking up so loosely, like so. By the time I could say, "Hey, we should use a condom," he had already finished and pulled out and came on my shoulder.
Oh.
The distance this guy gave me
Wow.
was incredible.
Wow.
And I mean, it was wild how fast it happened. And then he was like, "Okay, I gotta go." And then because he was clearly embarrassed, I feel bad for him.
Sure.
So he gets up and he leaves. And I was like, this is what being single is? I don't want this. I got a great guy. I'm never doing this again. I'm calling Steve, and the next day we hooked up and we got together. Yeah.
So going out to get drinks was something y'all just. I mean, that was a little more. That was like a post bad sex. Like, no, let's just skip ahead to Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I was like, done with this.
Yeah.
This sounds awful. I'm not doing. This isn't fun.
It sounds awful to me too.
Yeah.
I don't know why y'all do it. There was actually an interesting. I think it was in the last like 5-6 years. There was a study where basically heterosexual women they would have more casual sex if they believed that the casual sex would be any good.
Yes.
So it's like they were having less casual sex than the men, but the reasoning was like, well, it's not gonna be good. Why bother?
Yeah.
It's like there's all this risk of violence and death, and I'm not gonna come.
Yeah, I know.
I'm good.
I started saying that there's women start having standards after they start paying for their own health insurance, because it's like, if I'm gonna have to pay for the meds to get chlamydia, then I'm gonna come.
I mean, and rightfully so.
That experience was so bad. I got fucked into monogamy. It was just horrific.
Well, was there anything then in single life that you kind of wanted to try and didn't get to, that there's a little bit of a will I ever get to with Steven?
No. I mean, because I hooked up with a few ladies in college,
Okay,
and in grad school, and not for me. So I already went down that road.
I was wondering, you are wearing, are there other colors on these socks, or is it just orange bands?
Just orange bands.
Okay, 'cause
What does it mean?
I've had socks similar, and then it goes pride up the leg.
Oh, pride up the
It
leg.
just goes, there's more colors
I see.
all the way to the knee, and I was like, I think I have these socks.
Oh, yeah. No. Just they got them from Journeys. I'm still a teenager.
Mine were from a party center.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, I'm unfortunately not a part of I'm an ally only.
yeah.
But I did give it the old college try, and didn't stick. But I had a good time in my 20s.
Okay.
I do wish that I was alone longer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because
Not single.
not alone. Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Because I enjoy being alone. But I do get my alone time now, which is kind of crazy.
What, like on the road?
On the road, I'm alone. Steve's on the road. So I get to be alone, which I really, really like. My 20s, I had a great time. I was a bartender and an artist. You know, I was working, or I had a studio in Bushwick. So I did the whole...
Are you a visual? What do you do?
Photography.
Oh, sure.
Photography and video performance. It was a whole thing. I know, it was too much. It was so pretentious, and that shoe did not fit at all. It was like I was trying to put a shoe on my head. It was a mess.
We're not going to see that, like one of those video projects in the front of the special.
No,
to open. No,
God, no. The only one there's like
I'd watch all the way through through the credits if that was like on the side third.
I mean, maybe that's an idea if I ever start talking about my art career.
Okay.
Put career in quotes, hardcore. I could put the videos up because I still have them, but they're so bad. Caitlin really thought she was doing something.
The capital P people will love it. But it's save it for a bigger critical mass.
Yeah, I'll save it. All right. But it's just so, oh my God, I really did it.
But you didn't. So you said you didn't have a lot of alone time because like you had your art, you were a bartender,
and I lived it up. I was crazy. I drank a bunch, did a bunch of drugs, hung out with friends, hooked up randomly. But then I would the reason I can't do polyamory or anything else is because when I have sex with someone, I like fall in love. I'm the stereotypical female in that I just like, I can make it work. If you make me come, I'll try and marry you. So
it is a limited resource, I've heard.
Yeah. But the thing is, once you get to your 30s, you figure out how to make yourself come. And then you're like, oh, I don't need this man. But I did but I did have a lot of fun in my 20s. Okay. I did it up. I don't regret anything, and I don't miss it at all because I feel like I had my fun. But I wish I didn't worry about finding the person, finding the one and just being like, oh, I'll just be the one instead of just trying to be like, who am I going to marry? You know what I mean?
The who am I going to marry was kind of always a question in the back.
Always in the back of my head, and it's just like, that didn't need to be. But then, of course, it's hindsight. Everything works out. I found the guy I'm going to marry. I'm so happy, the happiest I've ever been. But, when you're in your 20s, you're like, am I ever going to be happy? My older sister, she married the first man she ever dated and then had 2 kids. By 25, she was, married and pregnant, and she just found him in college. And I thought that's what you did. Yeah. Because my mom also got married by 24 and my cousins were getting married.
Oh, your mom was also the older woman.
Yes, exactly. And, I just thought that's what would happen, and it didn't, and it kept not happening. It kept not happening. I kept kissing frog after frog, and then I just wish I did have like a year period where I just like let it all go. But then I still I had sex with a guy, fell in love, and then tried to, I can make him a husband. It's like, no, just don't think about getting married. It's not important.
Besides the age difference, how else were your parents models for marriage to you?
They weren't.
Then no, but that's still a model to learn from. I guess so. I should say, what'd you learn from what they exhibited? You know what?
They are still together.
Okay,
and they've had their ups and downs.
They're fucking terrible role models for marriage. They've been together 40 years.
No, I mean it's because when you grow up, you watch your parents fight.
Okay,
and my parents didn't fight, they threw tantrums. They had knockdown, drag out fights. And so when I look at that and I think, oh, I don't want that. I don't want to be a scream fighter.
Yeah.
And then but then I do admire them because they went to therapy, couples counseling, and they figured it out. They figured out their shit. They have a much healthier marriage now. They know how to have arguments, in a healthier way. So I think now they're a good example for marriage, but growing up, they were not.
do you ask them questions in kind of preparation or?
No.
You ever ask it? No.
I mean, but I will say growing up, it was the one thing I saw them constantly doing was making each other laugh. So that is something that I take away from their marriage, that it's like, okay, it's very important to laugh with your partner and be funny and silly. And then dinner tonight or every night together at like 6:00. We always had dinner together as a family. And that was nice. So those two things I take away from my parents, but the scream fighting and all that, I do not want to have any part of.
My sister posted this on Instagram like a few hours ago and said this phrase I don't think I've heard before, but your fight language, as opposed to love language, a fight language. Like, what do you think you and Steven's fight language is? How do y'all handle?
It's got to be the most annoying fight to be eavesdropping on, because we're both in therapy. Yeah. And so it is just therapy talk. It is us being like, well, that makes me feel like this is not important to you. And then he goes, well, that is not my intention. It is that, it's like literally us pausing, thinking about what we're going to say, and then saying it in a healthy way.
Yeah.
It's obnoxious.
But it's healthier.
It is healthier.
It's better. You're like, I would hate to overhear it. No, I would love to. The amount of like fighting I've heard, I'd be like, I would just like quietly clap. I'd be like, good for them, good for them. They're going to make it through this one.
We had one.
He's going to learn to put the toilet seat down. It's going to be great.
Oh, girl. It's not even the toilet seat stays down and he just pees all over it. That's the issue. And every time I sit down, I scream, Jesus Christ. And he's like, I'm sorry. But I thought I did it this time. No, you piece of shit. But we did have like one knockdown, drag out fight. Once we screamed at each other. We were all of our tensions were at a 10. We hit the wall. I don't even remember what the fight was about. Okay. But we screamed at each other. And then we came back and we were like, let's never do that again. So 1 out of 5 years ain't bad. Yeah. And it was 2 years ago. So before we got engaged. Yeah. So that's pretty good.
I think that sounds really good. I mean, but it's also easy to say. I mean, I think most of us think, oh, we shouldn't just scream at each other, but in the moment, it's fucking difficult.
Yeah, but
my neighbors know.
Exactly. And I know. And we live with Joe List, Sarah Tolomash, Ron on Hirschberg, so they all heard the fight.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. We
it's
live
a hilarious household.
I know. We live in a building. Joe List and Sarah Tolomash. At the time, they lived right next door to us.
Joe and Sarah together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're married. They just had a kid.
Oh shit! I'm very behind on Joe List.
Come on, keep it up. Yeah. Keep up. Joe List Weekly. And then Ron also moved in, and he lives upstairs.
Fun.
Yeah, it's such a fun household. We used to get together for Sunday night dinners, which is nice. We'd come back from the road and hang out. Yeah. But yeah, they're great. They're wonderful neighbors, but they definitely heard that fight. They definitely heard that.
So in the moment, is it difficult to like kind of keep it under control, or?
At that moment, it was.
Well, maybe not the big one, but just in these calm ones, is it just natural, or like do you have to fight something back?
There was sometimes. No, I just have to like. It's more of an internal thing. Okay, I'm going to say something I regret, and I know that I'm feeling. You have to pause. You just have to pause before you speak. It's like, and it also comes from love. I don't want to hurt this person irreparably, so I'm going to take a minute and be like, okay, you're just being mean. You're thinking mean things. It's not forever. You're just upset about the dishes. Okay, so how do we articulate that the dishes are an issue? And so we're going to take a minute. I'm going to stop texting you, and I'll tell him I'm going to stop texting you because I'm upset. So just give me a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll take time. But it's literally just, I'm very lucky that he is so, he's been in therapy and he knows he has good coping mechanisms, and I'm just learning them. And so he's very patient with me. And then also he's got a lot of anxiety, and I'm very outgoing. And so I'm very patient with him. And so it's like, cause he hates talking about money, and I love talking about money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable.
I know it is. He hates it. And his defense mechanism is jokes.
Yeah.
So he'll just start making jokes, and I'll be like, Steven, this isn't a funny moment. Steven, I understand. We went to a BLM march, and he we were marching across the bridge, and he's making joke after joke after joke after joke. And it was me, Chloe Radcliffe, and Jeff Sheen all walking. And Chloe's like, he cannot stop making jokes. And I was like, he's nervous. We're walking over a bridge and there's police around. He's nervous. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's a very inappropriate time to make jokes, but that's just how he is.
I mean, aside from funny, is Steven like your normal type? If you had a type?
If I had it, I don't really have a type. I have funny. Funny is a type. I always want a funny guy. They are usually shorter than me.
Which you're not, it's not like you're super tall.
No, I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's 5'6", 5'5".
Okay.
It depends on what shoes he's wearing.
Putting that on blast publicly. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, he doesn't care. And I think that's also, I dated a shorter guy who cared a lot that he was shorter than me. He hated it. And he would bring it up all the time, and he didn't like it when I wore heels. He was so insecure about it. And then he would wear hats that gave him some height. Like, good God, buddy. Just.
Was the top of his head like a thin situation? Or?
It was, too.
Right, another
so
reason
it was
to wear
two
the
birds,
hat.
one stone. Yeah.
Okay, yep. I just started getting into hats.
Yeah. Your hair looks great, you Italian king.
you.
All right? You're doing fine. But Steve doesn't care. He could care less about his height.
And you don't care about the height.
No, it doesn't matter to me. I've dated shorter guys, taller guys, but shorter guys are the most fun. In my experience, short guys are like, just, if they don't care that they're short, they are a blast.
But if they do care that they're short, you notice.
Oh yeah.
You don't notice the height. You notice how they feel about their height.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Same way with me about, I've been with women of all different sizes, but when I can tell you don't like your body is when I actually start to get a little more turned off by you and your body.
It's all confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've been less attracted to a thinner woman who hated her body than like the bigger woman who fucking loved her body.
Yeah.
Right. It's all about confidence.
It's all about confidence.
You talk to these incel guys. They're you cannot tell them that quote unquote just women can't be attracted to a shorter guy.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. But that's also, they're feeding their own narrative,
right?
So
because if it's something they can't control, then it's not their fault. It's not, God forbid, their personality.
Exactly. I always want to be like, look at Steve. Yeah. Look at Steve. He's doing great. He doesn't care that he's short. People tease him for being short, and he's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's like, I've heard that one before.
Yeah, he's like, I also made that joke on TV.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, you can't hurt me. I've already done it, and I got paid to do it. So, bye.
It's that whole incel community. I try to sometimes like calmly interact with them on like Twitter because I feel like, I don't know, because like you said, look at Steve.
Look at Steve.
I'm into it. He's right.
Yeah.
He's 5'5" on a whatever day. And I try to do a similar thing to them. I'll say they're convinced you have to be making a lot of money and or have like abs and or have a big dick and or something like. And I go, I don't know, dude. Explain me. Like I kind of like pseudo fuck for a living, and I'm pudgy. I don't make a lot of money. I got thin hair. Dick's pretty average. Like, but you can't convince them. They're like, well, just because it works for you doesn't mean. And I'll be like, no, man, this is just about you.
Yeah.
If you have 6'5" worth of confidence, it doesn't matter what height you actually are.
Yeah. No, and it's insane that they just place all their problems outward instead of just looking in the mirror for 4 seconds and being, because they're not happy. Yeah. If you're projecting that much, you're not happy. You're not a happy person. So isn't the goal to be happy? So figure out how to do that. Focus on that and don't just blame other people for your unhappiness. Do something to make yourself happy.
Where's your confidence come from?
God, it wavers. I won't lie. It goes up and down. Body confidence is new. I recently lost 30 pounds.
Mazel.
And I didn't hate my body before. I never felt that I was fat or overweight. I always liked my body, but you always seem to, the way I would see you talk about your body in your stand-up, it always seemed like you really appreciated like your physical strength. Yes. And that was the thing. I always liked I love being strong and capable. And that is a source of pride for me. And then I was like, I forget what was happening. But last year I think I was just drinking too much. I was getting really puffy and I wasn't as strong. I couldn't do like a 45-minute boxing class. And I was like, okay, so I'm not as strong as I think I am. So I'm going to try and get stronger. So I really invested in it. And I lost 30 pounds. My body is in better physical shape than it was when I was playing college soccer. And it's like, yeah, that's what I want. I want to be powerful. I don't want to be hot. I want to be powerful. I'm not trying to get guys to look at me. I'm trying to kill them. So that is what I want. And so I really invested in that. And so that's helped my confidence a lot. And I didn't even realize it because I would look at myself. You know how you have to look at yourself for clips? Shoot me in the fucking face. And
Well, you try having to look at naked comedy show clips. Okay, you want
only
wake up
imagine.
calls every month. I go like, "Hi, I gotta," and then I don't. But every month, I look at the clip. I go like, "Reuters, don't eat bread for a little bit. Reuters is coming. Come on."
yeah. No. But bread is so good.
Yeah.
But I
Wait, but the change. So the thing that helped was it was the weight loss, or was it the shifting the mindset from I don't want to be high, I want to be powerful?
both.
Okay.
Because I did lose weight and clothes that I always made excuses about not fitting. It's like, oh, I just don't have that body type. They actually fit now. And it's like, oh, it's because I was, A, I didn't know how to dress myself. And then B, I wasn't taking care of myself. And so that helped my confidence a lot. And looking at clips, and I'm not like, oh God, every movement, you really, none of that. It's, so that'll change. And then being on stage, liking your body makes a huge difference that I didn't even realize.
How so?
I'm not wearing layers to cover up. I'm not doing certain things because my arms will
You mean
jiggle.
like act outs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not hiding anymore, and I'm not doing as many self-deprecating jokes because that is something that I would do. I know I look blah, blah, blah. I look scary. I look this, it's, they're all just like, you can't hurt me. I hurt me. It's that whole thing. And so since I've lost the weight, and I'm not saying that losing weight will give you that confidence.
Right.
I know women who are 3 times my size and have more confidence than I will ever have.
And it's not like you weren't confident before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I'm definitely more
But
confident.
you were having
now.
that moment last year.
Yeah. It was always like in the back of the mind, just like, you remember what this body used to be able to do? You used to be able to do a lot. And now you just really, it was like, I can't stop drinking. Why would I stop drinking? It's part of my podcast. And I don't do the podcast anymore, thank God. But it was like, that's my personality. I'm no fun without it. It's all this negative self-talk that just feeds each other and that brings yourself down. But yeah, once I let go of the drinking, I was really able to kind of see that I had more to offer the world than just drunk Caitlin.
Yeah. And then you had more humor to offer than as many self-deprecating jokes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you can still write a joke. It's just a different joke.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be as much of the act. I mean, I think I remember either in college or my early 20s, like I was hitting myself too much on like self-deprecation. And like a comic had to come tell me.
Yeah.
Someone at Mike had to just be like, hey, just it's like a little too much.
Yeah.
Or I had like 1 or 2 comics. I would do a lot of like fat jokes in college, but I wasn't fat. I thought I was fat.
Yes.
Because I hated my body, but no one else looked at me. And at the time I was probably like 205 pounds, maybe one night. Like I was a lot less than I am now. A body that I would, not you, but I would murder 3 other people on the street right now to get that body back. Like that. And someone had to come to me and say, the reason some of these jokes aren't working is because you're not fat. You're calling yourself fat. You're confusing the audience.
Yeah.
And I had to really work around, even when I was doing jokes about being on Weight Watchers, which weren't like fat jokes, but I almost had to like explain why, because I guess I looked fine to everyone else.
Yeah.
But I don't think that about me. So I had to start writing like, I just lost X amount of pounds using Weight Watchers. Then I could do all this stuff because they go like, oh, okay, it's fine. He's the Weight Watcher stuff because this is after he's lost the weight.
Yeah.
Even if I hadn't, because I just had to like justify doing any of these jokes. But it's interesting to notice that like as you lost the weight and we're getting confidence back in that, like the self-deprecation cut down.
Yeah, you don't even realize how much you do it, the self-deprecating jokes, because it's so quick and it's so easy. And then it's just like, oh, you're just slowly stabbing yourself.
Yeah. It's also probably, I don't know about you, but probably some of the first jokes you wrote are just
obvious.
Taking yourself down.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're probably starting comedy because we already feel that way,
Also, you can totally rest feet on this. I had a moment earlier. This whole thing, this was loose this morning.
Oh.
A screw fell out, and earlier today I had this propped up so I can try to get it. I'm trying to get this lined up so I can get the screw in right, and I had like I could really use like a Caitlin Peluffo girlfriend right now. I could, someone who knows how this.
Yeah, I could have fixed that in no time.
Yeah, I feel like you would have done it faster, but I felt very good about myself. I was like,
see,
I fixed the thing.
Who's like a big boy?
I'm
you
a big
did
man.
it.
Yes, I am. You wanted to freeze the eggs.
Yes.
How was that process?
It was good. It was hormonal.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of wild. I have an IUD, and so it's really curbed my PMS symptoms.
Okay.
And so once they pump all those hormones back in you in order to freeze your eggs, and so I got a taste of what I would be like, and me pregnant is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah,
it's going to be
those
a
fights
fucking nightmare.
Need to
keep
pausing.
It's I know, right? Really have to channel my woosah moment, but no, it's more just like eating, getting depressed. Was like the worst I've ever felt, then the best I've ever felt, and then bloated, and then crying for no reason, just like feeling really emotional. I became a vegetarian because I was like, we're killing these animals, and I would just get so upset about it. I just became too empathetic, and I still feel guilty every time I eat chicken, but I need to eat chicken because I'm trying to build this body, and so it's a real nightmare. It's really changed me.
When you freeze the eggs, is that when you have to like do the shots or something like that?
You do 3 weeks worth of shots. Some are 2 times a day. They pump you full of estrogen.
Steven help with those?
I didn't need him to. Sure. I think the first time we did it together, and I was like, I don't know if I can stay. And then I did it, and I was like, oh, this is easy. Okay. You don't have to do this. And also, he gets so anxious about that kind of stuff. Which is just his. I knew I was signing up for an anxious boy, and
the kid gets a cut. You're gonna have to deal with.
Yeah, exactly.
Scrapes a knee. That's a Caitlin job.
Yeah, and it was like, well, by the end of it, it was just like, and I fucked up like a couple times, but it all worked out. We got 8 eggs for my age, which is great. So I was like, great, we'll take some eggs.
Cool.
But yeah, it was just like annoying because you really had to plan. Everything had to be at the same time. And then the fact that they just send you with medication that you have to stab yourself with is insane. Oh yeah. And you have to measure it out yourself. You're like, I'm not a fucking pharmacist. What the fuck are we doing here? But I did. I fucked up a couple times, and then I would call the helpline. I'm so sorry. And they're like, it's fine. It's totally, you're going to be fine.
Because you're thinking this is like the most expensive mistake I've made in my entire life.
Exactly. I was like, I'm going to fuck this whole thing up. And they're like, nope, you were late by an hour, and that's okay. I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Which kind of to circle back with kind of where we opened, which was you have to have conversations that you don't have maybe with a boyfriend and girlfriend as often, which is how do we want to co-parent? What are our philosophies on that? What are the conversations you all have had about child rearing, if you've gotten there yet?
Yeah, we've talked about it. It's we know that we definitely want to be good parents, I
don't know if anyone sets out to be bad ones.
I know.
I'd be very concerned if someone's like, I kind of want to be a horror show.
I know.
I want to give this kid so much trauma because that's going to make him stronger.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, what a premise. Yeah, no, but writing the new hour is so hard. But in terms of co-parenting, we know that we definitely, it's going to require a lot more scheduling because we're both on the road. Our dream is to, on the summers, just co-tour and just have, put our kids in a motorhome and tour the country.
Oh.
That would be so fun. But yeah, we know that it's going to be like, okay, I got this weekend, you got this weekend, and this weekend we're home together. I got this weekend, you know, it's going to be a lot of planning for the road, and then for spots in the city. It's just going to be planning. We just have to really work that shared calendar. But the priority would be dinner together as a family at 6 every single night.
That's nice.
That's the goal. You know, start there. Start small.
Yeah. And you got your album coming out next week, which means I think
Friday. Yeah.
This Friday,
March 8th.
Which means last week for the people listening to this.
Yes. It's out now.
It's out now. That is, it's out now.
Yes.
What's the name of the album?
It's called Dirty Bird.
And what on earth could it be about?
It's about being a hot slut.
Do you know that's a porn category?
Is
Dirty
it?
Bird?
I mean, honestly.
I don't know, but
game on.
Might be.
But yeah, it's called Dirty Bird. It's the first 9 years of my comedy career culminated into one fun hour. I'm very proud of it. And I filmed it at San Francisco Punchline, which was a huge honor. So please listen to it.
Was the clip that I commented on today or yesterday?
That's
was from that?
Yeah.
That's the punchline?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was an older joke about Steve's big dick. And
Which we didn't even... I've tried to respect his privacy.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny. There's Tuesdays on there who go in and they're like, Big Dick Steve, Big Dick Rogers. They know it's him.
I mean, I have not related to a punchline more in a long time until I saw that. And I was like, wow, yeah, no, wow, okay, sure, man. Good for you. Had no idea because the man works clean.
He works clean.
I've never had to hear about his penis.
Nope. Yeah,
But,
I'll let you know.
Happy for the two of you.
Thank you so
on
much.
that. Yeah. Is there any stuff from like the Colbert set in it? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You didn't feel weird. You're like, yeah, we can put it in both things. It's fine.
Yeah, because I don't make any money off of Colbert.
Yeah.
So it's
And those are great jokes.
They're great jokes. And so that was the big thing with this album, was getting all the old jokes that I have done for 9 years that were on Colbert, Corden, Comedy Central, and just getting them onto, you know, some kind of place where more people can see them, because not a lot of people watch my Colbert or my Corden. Yeah. So get them out there into the masses.
It was everyone who came to the watch party at New York Comedy Club, and then another 100 people somewhere in Ohio.
Exactly.
And,
so it's just it's trying to get it all into one place. And then also different jokes as well that I've been doing for years, just not on anything. Cool. So it was just, I was so tired of telling them time to move on. And that's what this is. And I actually had fun. When you're telling them for the last time, it's very exciting.
And it's burned. Not going to do them again.
You're like, woo, I love you. Give them a nice little send off, a Viking funeral, shoot it off into the darkness.
And stuff for like an encore if you ever want to one day, if you ever became that type of comic. Comes back on, does a joke. They know, they're all like, play Freebird, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe one day I'll be doing Beast.
Beast, I hope so.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Oh, thank you.
Your Colbert set was so, it was fun to watch in the environment, like at the watch party and all, but like, it's just like, it's a great set. I think I've always thought you were super funny. Go check out the album. Go get the album, because like, I am going to. Yeah. I can't wait to listen to this.
Thank you so much. And pre-order it. And then I'm also going to put clips on YouTube so you can see some of the video as well.
Wonderful. Yeah. And then also, where can they go to find you and follow you more often than Steven, apparently?
Yeah.
But it's okay because he's very confident and secure about it.
Yeah, he's doing great. At Caitlin Peluffo, CAITLINPELUFFO. And it's pretty much on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. All that, you'll be able to find me on there.
Fantastic. And then you're also currently on tour, I saw.
Yeah. I've got a lot of dates.
You got a lot of dates coming up.
A lot of dates coming up. So please come see me. Grand Rapids, I'll be in August with my mother.
Yeah.
So get on out there. I think my next one is Houston, Texas. I'm going to the Riot March 15th and 16th. Okay. And then I'm opening for Fortune and Mateo Lane a bunch. Oh, but yeah, come and see Moon Tower. I'm doing Moon Tower. That'll be fun. Austin, Texas. So,
okay. Caitlin, this is so much fun. Thanks for coming on. And everyone, like I said, please go follow, go check out the album, because Caitlin's quite the talent.
Oh, what a sweet boy.
Well,
From one Italian to another. I love you, Yamook.
Last question before we go. 69ing. Eh?
No. Exhausting.
Exhausting.
69.
That's all
Who has the time? I mean, I guess now I have the core strength, but no. I'm tired from my workout. Let's just 10 minutes and a nap.
Beautiful. Caitlin, why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to everybody?
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for letting me sit and chat with you. And thanks for letting me be a half hour late. I'm so
You're
sorry.
so fine.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Don't go just yet. You know the drill. I've got a teaser clip. There's more Caitlin Peluffo for you and your ear holes. Just hang tight. I'm going to play that in a moment. The best place to discuss this week's show is in the episode discussion channel in the Champagne Room, our Discord server. It is free to join at manwhorepod.com/Discord or click the link in the show notes. You can email me your comments, your questions, your criticisms, your titty pictures, what have you, to manwhorepod@gmail.com. I appreciate all the new Patreon signups. It sounds like y'all are hearing and heeding the word, the request. A lot of newbies rolling in since last week. And Patreon has this new thing apparently where when you sign up, you can fill out a survey, like why you joined, and it allows you to like write like kind of a comment. So I got this like, this is a brand new feature. I was very surprised. It was like so sweet to read from Joe, and she wrote, "Little old me from New Zealand. I wonder how many Kiwi listeners you have. I've been a fan whore for over a year, listening religiously every Wednesday night when new episodes are released here. I love your work, Billy. Your honesty is refreshing, and you're pretty funny and cute too." So thank you, Joe, not only for your membership, but also for those kind words. I hope we will be seeing you at Hot Movie Night. Patreon is the best way to support the work that I do, and you'll also be able to enjoy a slew of great rewards. $5 and up fan whores are getting a bonus episode, a little bony, with Caitlin Peluffo tomorrow, and I'm going to play a little teaser for that right now. In the meantime, become a member at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. No, you cannot find me in the app because I am the very scary adult content. You're going to have to sign up on desktop first. So enjoy the little teaser clip with Caitlin coming up right now. And until next week, everyone, stay slutty.
And it made him look exactly like his father.
Nothing. Oh.
And I love Rick. Rick's great.
Okay.
I love Rick. Nicest dad in the game. Okay?
Don't want to sit on Rick's face.
No,
No.
boy, I don't even put that in the universe. Oh my God.
Considering
boy.
how like generally clean this episode had been.
I know. You got to put it in there.
Had to
I know.
inject
I get
something.
it. I get it. It is called the Man Whore Podcast.
It's what it is. Did I choose a bad title 10 years ago? Maybe. A little late to change it.
It's too late.
Yeah.